Hey everybody, this is Rob with All Together. It's time for Gore of My Editor's Comfort Character, where we play Jarl into Arachne Slips Through the Cracks.
Oh my god! My Shayla! My Shayla!
I think Slips Through the Cracks has kind of been popping up in some little places. I think it's a solid deck that's on the rise. Kind of as Mario waxes and wanes in the meta. I think Slippy's a really interesting play right now. I think Slippy probably has the better gravy matchup. Slippy, I think, could be better than Ocilia, which is being like harder to block, better disruption, a little more flexible. So I think as long as you're not playing into Marionette, I think Slippy has a pretty good spread. And I think there can be a really hard deck for people to block and play around. So I think Slippy's kind of missing like one busted play to make them the deck. Bonds of Agony was a big hit for the deck, but I think this is can be tough. But they play pretty redline. So I think this is a matchup we're pretty favored into. I've brought in Colors of Arya because a lot of them like to break armor, whether it's their boots or it's their hat, to get an effect. I think I'm playing the chest, Earth Chest, and not Pummel. I probably should be playing Tunic and Pummel in a little more matchups, but I'm just seeing how things feel without Pummel currently. Anyway, this is, I think we start the match here. I think I just play Felling to get an Earth in my graveyard and to get Felling in my graveyard for the time I get Codexed. And just keeping reactions is really good in a Slippy, historically. So I think we're going to look to CNC with a Plow Under, or pitching a Plow Under probably, and then Arsenal Rootbound if we can. That's kind of what this hand wants to do. They have fairly stock equipment. I don't know how much I see Blood Spattered Vest versus I see Tunic. But there feels like there's very little reason to block Dagger on Marionette, especially the first one. Or, sorry, Slippy. I think it's just kind of they're spending a full card to send 1 damage, and their mark is a little less relevant than Marionette. So this Infect here, I think it's just good to block 3 here, and then we have 2 D-Reacts. So I'm not worried about it. We'll get more Earth in the graveyard, and then if they hit us with something, we can just go boom, sink below. Gotcha. But yeah, this is a very favorable starting hand here for where we can react into Slippy. It really kind of changes the pace of things. It feels like how they played, where they just had go again into nothing. This is probably a D-React in Arsenal, so CNC lines up really well here. Yeah, and then we just were able to kind of set up our own D-React for a couple turns from now. Ideally, we want to decompose with it, but if we stop an on-hit, we stop a good on-hit. The fun thing with Assassin in this matchup is they occasionally banish Earth cards for you, so you're able to get easier and better decomposes. So it's something to think about as you kind of fill your graveyard and kind of set these plays where you don't always need Rebound to turn on. You can often just play Felling and just like banish 3 Earth, and because they banished like some auxiliary Earth earlier in the game, you're okay. So they decide to give you Crown here. They say my hero power is not real, and they're going to take a 5-card hand. Unfortunate for them, I draw Frostfang here. I am going to look to fucking to blow them out with this. This card is brutal into Marionette. We don't block damage that doesn't do anything. Like this is just a head jab, and this gets unmarked. This is awesome. I would love it helps them convert their hand, sure, but I am not really worried about taking 3 damage off of pick up the point here. They'll flick. That's fine. So that means no Kiss of Death later this chain link, or later this turn most likely. And it goes okay, so they're going for lobotomy here. And I'm going to say I am a little worried about getting lobotomized because I do want to give them a Frostbite. So I'm pretty sure I give them Mangle, and I give them I give them CNC. Okay, I think I do Mangle, yeah. Because I like the pressure with the says. And if they try to react here, I have a D-React as well. And I'm willing to bet they don't have the two reacts to get over, especially with the Frostbite. So if I end up IPing myself here, I think that's okay. Because I think it's really important I just get this Frostbite off with Frostfang. That's basically a full card from them. They will T-Tox here. They will shred my shield, which is a bummer. Stalagmite's really powerful in this matchup, but I'm also not getting T-Toxed on a Kiss of Death. So, you win some, you lose some. They will Arsenal here. So we end up IPing ourselves, but I think that's okay. This looks like it could be pummel, so they probably have to be a little bit scared. But Frostfang on cast, giving the Frostbite is awesome here. The best way to beat this, though, is to just like have a D-React and pitch a blue. But Slippy doesn't play a lot of blues and doesn't always play a lot of D-Reacts. This hand's less good. I mean, it's in CNC. But we can try to block with Colors of Aria here. Okay, so they have 4. They're pitching. They have Funnel Web next turn. We just block this and take 1. We should block with an Open Old on the next attack, and then save the D-React. I think I just decided to say root bound this, take a 1 damage, and hope I get like an Earth off the top. Beautiful. We get the colors. We take a damage. That's okay. They get a silver, but we get Banish, and then we set up an Open Old. They do have Arsenal Disruption coming this next turn. We know that, but you know, they're always going to have Arsenal Disruption. We have Crown Providence. We're okay. CNC here is threatening a card, which is always great. But whenever Slippy has to block several cards like this, it makes it much easier to predict what they do. And since we don't have a D-React that we know about, at least, we're in a better spot. Never mind, we drew the D-React. This is tough because like we can try to save our arsenal with the hat, but I think we're going to say block 4 here and have a D-React and try to Open Old them back. If they're able to double D-React, damn, that sucks. We can play CLF and Swing Hammer. It's a little hammer, but it's still a hammer. So a little Marcos here. You could have Omnisword. I don't think I do that. And then they go take up the mantle into... nothing. So I will say Sigma here. And if they can get over us, they can get over us. We just play CLF and start hitting them. Codex, leave no witnesses here would be... oh, Codex of Blood Rot's fine. I always forget what this one does. I guess this is kind of draw a card, deal 2 damage, which is solid for a yellow. And can like be frustrating for us in some cases, but we have the arsenal. Anyway, this actually works out really well because we could just pay 2 from the Everbloom to cover the Blood Rot here, and then the Oakenol just absolutely houses them and takes their turn, and then sets them behind almost 10 life now. So we're able to pay for the Blood Rot and then arsenal a Channel like Frigid, which is not where they want to be. Kiss of Death is unfortunate. I think we just say no blocks on this and just see what they do. If they have T-Tox, they have T-Tox, but we're able... I don't know if I'm supposed to do this. Maybe it's a little greedy. Because we can convert our hand by playing colors and CLF and then arsenaling that. But we already have seen a T-Tox. Lobotomy is a bummer. They have an Orbita class here. So I say that's fine. We block 3. They flick the Kiss of Death for 2. Oh well. Ouchie. We're still in a commanding lead here, having 7 life. Still most of our fridge, or I guess half of our fridge at this point. And then giving them a Frostbite when we cast Colors of Aria. I think this is a game you're going to see just how valuable Jarl's Hero Power can be if they don't respect it. Especially with us kind of playing things like Colors, playing a lot of ice cards. We have the CLF ready when we do find the turn to kind of go off. So they'll take some damage here, and then we can go Winter's Bite or just play Plow Under after we play CLF, which is great. I guess this hand probably just blocks 1 card, plays CLF and Plow Unders, or just blocks 2 cards, plays CLF, Arsenal, Plow Unders. What I would do here, depending on what they do. Luckily, this is actually just super face up with Kiss of Death, which is so nice. So we can just block 2 cards here and just say take... and then they could flick a dagger to swing a dagger, but I don't think that's super worth. We just CLF them and then pass and just see what their turn looks like. Plow Under's sick here because it puts them in a spot where they have to... like they'll most likely Arsenal because of the CLF. They're kind of taxed and they're slow, so their turn looks pretty easy to deal with. Looking at this hand immediately, This is where I really value Boreal Domain, because we're able to activate them to pitch an ice card and then play Plowwinder to play another ice card. I think we're just going to block with a card here. Block with 2 potentially, but I think we just block with a card and say, if you take a card from my hand, I lose fruits, not a big deal. And if you take a card off my deck, I don't care. It's only bad if I take my arsenal, but even then, it's not too bad. But the thing is, it's going to cost them their hand if they want to react. So, looks like they'll play Codex, and then leave no witness here. Kind of unforge. But we could just block 4 and say we're good. We don't have enough to pop boots. I think popping boots here is probably maybe a little bit better than Crown, because Crown's really nice to stop Codex, but being able to keep CLF around for another turn while we just strip their arsenal. Two card 5 is not great, but it's effectively a 2-card 8. It's not bad for a yellow. But I don't need to tell you guys how good Plowwinder is. We are a bit behind here in armor, but they are only 14 life, so let's see how this goes. We kind of have one last block with armor to really kind of stuff something before we're kind of in trouble. This hand's okay. We can Winter's Bite into like Footsteps, or we could like Winter's Bite into Terrace Under Titan's Fist. Not awesome. But we will most likely block with Pain in the backside because it is 4 damage, so we just block with Autumn's Touch. And then we can just go like Winter's Bite Hammer, Arsenal Terrace Under, or we can just Winter's Bite Hammer. And like, that's pretty solid with an off Tunic. It just strips a card, gives them a Frostbite. It's effectively a 2-for-1 in matchups like this. And then us keeping around this well-grounded the entire game, they really have to think about when they want to go for their kind of flicks and pop-off turns. So it's kind of like holding Stalagmite or holding Flush Bag. It's just like, it's a defensive tool. They have to just kind of like say, I'm only going to put this much value on the chain. Like, you could stop it if you want to, and eventually just like, we'll see what they're willing to risk before you can stop it. Another pick up the point. I'm curious if I block this one. Oh yeah, because they have to. Yeah, that makes sense. It's good to block that here, and then we just go Winter's Bite and Hammer. Pretty happy with this. We just take a card and force them to pitch at the start of their turn, and then just get damage in. You can see kind of if you rewind back in the game and just consider like that first turn when I sent the CNC and they said, I'll send Hat here. Just either losing that card or just blocking 6 on it. And just like not having the Frostbite every turn. Just about would kind of change their turnover turn value, because like we're really like, now they're in trouble. Now we can just send huge value here. Codex of Inertia is fine. That's actually so easy. Oh my god, that's so sick. And then we just discard, like, Imposing. Yeah, we can play Ice Lock here, give them a Frostbite, and then we send Felling on the Crown. Love 0-cost Ice Go again, just to give them Frostbites and constantly tax them. This stops them from using their Arsenal while they have a Frostbite, so if they have like a D-React here, they can't use it. But they're just forced to get their hand here. We're on a similar pace in fatigue, but we are above about double their life total, and we are Guardian, which tends to do pretty well in these fatigue races. So we can just play a CLF out here and then send like Hammer with an Everbloom, or we can discard. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is a better line here because we can Hammer for 4, and then just pitch Everbloom for 2 life, or Fruits for 2 life. Sick. So we're above 31 here. It's 31 to 13. We call that a pummeldrome where I'm from. And then we'll just keep the CLF around. Cool, Frostfang. Or we could just have like Dominated Mangle. Actually, what I think the line here to do is you just play Mangle for 8, pitching Frostfang and Frozen to death, and you keep CLF around for yet another turn. And then if there's nothing worth blocking, you just Arsenal Tear Asunder. But we can see kind of how much of a struggle CLF is for Slippy. Having to pitch a yellow to send a head jab is kind of tough. And if they want to, like, I guess they can't play Codex. Yeah, I was going to say if they like Codex next link, but like they can't because of CLF. Just checking to see what's in our, or what's it, yard here. How much earth do we have? They just go block 9, makes sense, and then they're going to just probably pass. Yep, can't play the Meat Madness. There's Glacial Footsteps here. We can go 8 Dominate, but I think it just makes more sense to Glacial Footsteps, Arsenal Glacial Footsteps. We're getting close to that point where we're about to pitch stack, so we're just going to get Hands of Blues. So Footsteps can end games that way. This probably should be Macho Grande, but I do just like Footsteps a little bit better. Yard's always been very partial to it. This hand's awesome. We just get to go... Alright, so I think we just no-block this, and if we lose the Arsenal, I don't care at all. And if we lose the card, we just get rid of Sink Below, and then we can send Winter's Bite Felling. So Arsenal's great, that's cool. And then second Chain Link, we block whatever was Sink Below. Say nothing. We lose the Sink Below, but I think we're in a position where I don't care about losing the Sink Below, and we can just save it for the end of the game. Really starting to pull ahead in this fatigue race here. This hand sucks. Unfortunate, these things happen. Just part of being Guardian. Yeah, I think you just send Hammer, keep the Oakenold. We just use our life total buffer to just find a way to close this game next turn. Maybe we keep the Dramatic Erebus, but they said, enough. I'm done. I'm out of here. It was too much for me. So... just really showing how powerful CLF is in this matchup, just absolutely taxing the hell out of them, making sure they can't get the plays they want to get done, and while we're able to keep disruption and pressuring their life total. We're well ahead on fatigue in that matchup as well, and so just being able to Arsenal Oakenold, I think our next hand is Felling too, with some pulses. I think it was what it was. Let me see. Let me go back. That's sorted. What's on? I think this is unsorted. So our hand is Felling, Pulse, Crumble, Imposing. So we can block with a Felling and a card and then Pulse, or we can Pulse Diffuse the Oakenold, or we can just say, I don't really care, and then just Felling. Like, there's just so many lines here, and then, like, the next hand naturally fuses Oakenold. The next hand does not, but, like, the following, we're in a really good spot, is what I'm saying. But thanks for watching, and hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay.